Hi everybody, I wanted to put out a video with a technique as to how to find some peer-reviewed references. Now, if you have not watched my first video in the current module or reviewed that material in the first module where I talk about what a peer-reviewed reference is, and the course material talks about peer-reviewed references and how to find them, and there's tutorials for our online library and so on and so forth, please do that first. This is just a small technique, a non-traditional technique at that, as to how to find some peer-reviewed references that I think can be really helpful to some people. I'm going to adjust my camera here just a little bit. So um, this is where we're going to start. I'm going to demonstrate it for you a little bit, so follow along if you can. I'm recently researching a bit how technology impacts the family dynamic. So this is an article from CNN. Teens spend a mind-boggling 9 hours a day on using media, report says. So on your reference listing assignments, I often find people trying to use something like this as a reference, but you cannot. This is not a peer-reviewed article. It cannot be used. So things like CNN, The Guardian, Time, New York Times, things like that, you can't use it. But oftentimes those articles will have clues for you to leading to peer-reviewed articles that you can use. So we're going to go down that rabbit hole right now. So I was interested specifically in multitasking. Now, and this article had a little bit of multitasking here. As much as we would like to believe everybody, we are not good multitaskers as humans. We often think that we are, but we are not, unfortunately. And there's a lot of good research evidence coming out for that. And this is actually one really good study, not this article, but what I'm going to show you is one really good study demonstrating that, especially in children. So as we're reading through what's wrong with multitasking here, we have some quotes, we have some, so on and so forth. We have something that's mentioning a study at Stanford. Ooh, so that might be your peer-reviewed article that we want to track down. Now we're really lucky in the CNN article because they give us a link here. So let's see what happens when I click on this link. It brings us to some sort of summary of the article, but this is good right here. It looks like that might be this might be the title of the article right here, but this is not the actual article still. This is just a summary. Oh, there's a citation of it down here. That's really awesome. So a citation with all of the authors, the actual title of the article. So you could plug that into the online library at Fort Hays, and I'm pretty sure that you would find it, or get an interlibrary loan and do it that way, and you would find it just fine. However, we're really fortunate with this page, and of course I've planned out the process of this for you guys so I could give you a good example. There is another link here that's going to take us to another site where it will take us to the actual article. So if you click on full text here, it's going to give us the whole thing. Now this is pretty rare to be able to find an article this quickly. And obviously I had this planned for you guys, but still there's a link, there's another link, and it takes you right to it. You usually have to do a little bit more digging. So maybe you found the citation here, you can take that back to the online library. But you usually have to do a little bit more digging than that. So you could take this back to the online library. Let's see. Let's say in this article, though, it wasn't so nice and clean, and there was no link, there was no citation. Sometimes if you scroll down all the way to the bottom of the page, the journalist will cite their sources, like down here, but she doesn't do that, and that's perfectly okay, but she does not do that. So that's kind of a bummer for us too, if there was no link included here. But maybe somehow we get an author's name. So I happen to know that the authors' names are Nas and Ophir, for the article that I'm trying to find. So let's say they mention that in this article. I would go to Google, I would type in maybe Nas, Ophir, and then like a keyword like multitasking, and see what comes up. Oh, wow, look at this. So this looks like if I clicked on this, it would lead me to the article again. Let's go back though. That would lead me to the article again. So again, a lot of stuff is just populating here that seems to be right on track with what I am looking for. So I think this is actually the page that we were just on a minute ago with the actual full text stuff, which is great. But it just happened to kind of come up, and we have everything that we would need to find the article. So what I'm trying to get at, guys, I guess, is that it's not always this quick. I kind of set this example up for you, but if you get an author's name, maybe the title of an article, maybe some other clue from a non-peer-reviewed article, you can bring that information and use it as clues to find the actual article. You may not be able to go right to our online library and type it in and find it. Maybe you can. Maybe you have to do a little bit more digging on Google and the internet to kind of find more specifics before you go to the online library. But just because you find an article like this with some sweet information in it doesn't mean you can't find a way to use it. Meaning that you find their references and then you use them for yourself. There's nothing wrong in doing that. I do it all the time. Because when you're reading an article like this, you might say, oh boy, this is a really interesting thing right here. I know I can't use it, but how do I find their research? And then you go ahead and find it. It takes some grit sometimes. Sometimes, I have definitely spent 30 minutes just fumbling around on Google trying to find a specific article, and then maybe find it on the Forsyth Library databases if I have to pay for it, because I would get it for free through the databases, of course. So I hope this video helps. I hope it can outline maybe one way that you can find some peer-reviewed articles if you're looking at articles like this. So if you turn in a reference listing assignment with an article from CNN or The Guardian or New York Times or something like that, I will probably kindly refer you to this video to walk you through how to track down the original and peer-reviewed research. Hope all is going well, everyone. Email me anytime.